After accidentally drugging my nemesis Ethan, he and I got locked in a room together. While I trembled and begged for mercy, he lightly grazed my chin with his teeth and rasped, "Shouldn't you blame your own meddling hands? Now, bear it even if you're exhausted." Before fleeing the next morning, I still mocked him for being weak and feeble. Yet 3 days later, he became my stepbrother when our families merged and moved into my home. That night, Dad stood outside my room, advising me not to offend Ethan, the head of the Foo group. With only a wall separating us, I sat perched on Ethan's lap. He silenced me with his tie and sneered coldly, "Little sister, you had the nerve to call me weak. Now see if you can hold back your tears tonight."
Welcome to listen to my full sweet love series novel. I'm the blogger and I'm Twilight's novel. Now let's start the main story.
Ethan leaned back on the sofa, his dark eyes fixed intently on me. Dangerous yet intimate. I pressed myself tightly against the door. Frantically twisting the doorknob, I stammered with trembling fear, "Ethan, it wasn't me. Really, I didn't do it." He remained unmoved. His expressionless face clearly showed disbelief. The hotel room door had been locked from the outside. As I desperately wrestled with the lock, Ethan discarded his tie and strode toward me. I wished I could dissolve into the wall and vanish. Fortunately, Ethan merely brushed past me and entered the bathroom. I immediately called my best friend, panic flooding my voice. "Why did you drug Ethan?" "Ha! Lemon, didn't you say he always opposed you and you couldn't stand him?" "I was helping you get revenge." I closed my eyes. Walking to the coffee table, I poured myself a glass of water and gulped it down, trying to suppress my anger. I added, "But you locked me in a room with him." My best friend paused. After a few seconds of silence, she said, "I'll send someone to unlock it right now." After hanging up, I felt strangely parched and drank another glass. Ethan emerged as I reached for the third cup. "Lemon." His gaze was cold and steady. "What are you drinking?" My thoughts began to slow down. Staring at him, I sluggishly uttered, "Huh." Ethan walked calmly toward me, leaning in to cage me between him and the sofa. He looked down at me with a scrutinizing stare. "Did you do this on purpose?" he asked slowly. "Do you want to sleep with me?" Wide-eyed, I shoved him away. "Ethan, what are you thinking? How much I despise you. Isn't that obvious?" Flushed, I pushed him onto the sofa and straddled his lap. My intense gaze traced every feature of his face. Wherever my eyes landed, my hands followed. "Where does this confidence come from? Haven't you realized? You're actually very unattractive." I analyzed him seriously. "Don't you think your nose is too sharp? And your eyes?" My voice faded until I dared not speak. Ethan's face was too close. One move and our lips would touch. Ethan pinched my cheek lightly, demanding, "Why do you hate me so much?" I leaned back slightly. After fidgeting, I mumbled, "Because you like Vivien." Vivien's father worked at the same company as my dad, but his position on the board was slightly higher. Vivien had mocked me relentlessly since childhood, exploiting this fact. She became my most hated person. Ethan frowned as if confused. "Who do I like?" The room temperature seemed to climb again unnoticed. It was stiflingly unsettling. Suppressing discomfort, I accused him logically. "Freshman year, I saw your car pick her up at the school gate." Growing angrier, I slapped my palm over his face. "Vivien said it was her suitor. Who came for her?" Ethan removed my hand, offering a lazy explanation. He said he'd lent the car to a friend before returning to the country and had never liked Vivien. I nodded slowly, feigning understanding. "She probably rejected you because you're ugly." Ethan smirked silently. Thinking he doubted me, I added earnestly, "Take your eyes, for instance." Staring at his fluttering lashes, I whispered, "Stop moving." Compulsively, I cupped his face and kissed his eyelid. A fleeting relief soothed my inner restlessness. I pleaded softly, "One kiss means you stop, okay?" Ethan's throat moved as his eyes darkened. I leaned down and kissed his Adam's apple. Ethan shut his eyes and tilted his head back against the sofa. A low, muffled groan escaped him. "Lemon." I abandoned his throat and looked up. Ethan's voice was thick. Who taught you to tease like this? I felt dazed, unable to comprehend. The man sat up, guiding my hand to his disheveled shirt collar. He made me fiddle with the buttons. Kiss whatever moves, is that it? Touching my burning ears, I nodded. Ethan's nose, which I'd criticized, brushed mine. He coaxed gently. What if it's my mouth? I leaned in, grazing his lips lightly. My voice melted like gummy candy, sweet yet fragile. That needs a kiss too. Every word Ethan murmured earned a peck from me like a chick nibbling grain. Until Ethan answered a call. Mr. Ethan, I'm downstairs at the hotel. I'll bring someone to unlock the door and deliver the antidote immediately. Hearing unlock, I resisted. My hazy eyes met Ethan's. No more kisses? He muted the phone. His thumb idly stroked my jawline. If I let you kiss me, will you take responsibility? I stared longingly at his cool, inviting lips and nodded firmly. Yes, I'll take responsibility. Ethan unmuted and ordered, Don't come up. Why? Mr. Ethan? He lifted me into his arms, his voice unervingly rough. I've found the antidote. Then he hung up. Ethan claimed he'd only drunk half a cup. I couldn't fathom why my 2 cups wore off within an hour while his symptoms showed no relief. He ignored my pleas to stop, my fake feints, or my apologies. He even found time to taunt me coldly. Shouldn't you blame your own meddling hands? Now, bear it even if you're exhausted. No matter how much I denied involvement, he refused to believe me. The next day, due to an overdose, I woke with amnesia. I only recalled feeling dizzy after 2 glasses of water before Ethan carried me to bed. I turned to see Ethan still asleep, holding me tightly. I instantly concluded. This scoundrel had coaxed me into becoming his remedy. Ethan woke abruptly. Our eyes locked. He pulled me closer, his chin resting on my shoulder. His voice was heavy with fatigue. Sorry about last night. I anticipated the classic, it was just a mistake speech. It's fine. I cut him off breezily. Sitting up, I replied coolly. I'm not taking it seriously, Ethan. He froze before eyeing me expressionlessly. His tone turned icy. What do you mean? Remembering his pursuit of Vivien, a wave of inexplicable sadness washed over me. I exhaled softly, clinging to composure. Gathering my clothes calmly, I stated. It means once we leave this room, let's forget last night happened. I truly want nothing to do with you. Ethan sat up, letting the sheets pool at his waist as he stared relentlessly. Lemon. Are you playing me? Distracted by dressing, I barely registered his words. Before leaving, I tossed one last barb. Remember to warn your future girlfriend to stay quiet, Mr. Ethan. Since you're weak, it'd be embarrassing if word got out. My timing was impeccable. The moment I spoke, I slammed the door shut, denying him any chance to retaliate. At the hotel entrance, I bumped into Vivien and her friends. Look who it is, Lemon. Leaving a hotel this early? How indecent. Initially nervous, I'd planned to sneak away. Her sharp words ignited my fury. Laughing coldly, I deliberately raised my voice. What did you say, Vivien? Everyone staying here is indecent? Instantly, all eyes in the lobby turned to her. Their scrutiny pierced Vivien like needles. Enraged, she shoved me. Are you insane, Lemon? Caught off guard, I stumbled backward into a glass door. My left foot twisted under me from the imbalance. Ouch! A pained gasp escaped me. Before I could retaliate, footsteps behind me distracted Vivien. Her friend gushed excitedly. Vivien, that hunk knows you. He's coming straight at you. Vivien lifted her chin like a princess. He's pursued me for ages. I'm considering giving him a chance. The footsteps neared. Ignoring my throbbing ankle, I hobbled away clinging to the door. I didn't dare look back. But their conversation echoed behind me. Handsome, just one question. Why do you look so disheveled? Like that girl we just confronted. Ethan's reply was too low to hear. Then the friend spoke again. Oh, pulling an all-nighter at work explains it. Totally normal. Blinking back dryness, I forced a small smile. I was grateful I'd cut ties with Ethan first. Clearly. He wanted nothing to do with me either. Later, Ethan called me once. I instinctively avoided him, hanging up and blocking his number. To be safe, I even changed my phone number. 3 days later, I still couldn't escape him. At my home, Dad's new wife, Aunt Seong, moved in with us. Ethan came with her. Aunt Seong patted my hand gently, introducing him. Lemon, this is my son Ethan. You can call him brother. His new place isn't ready yet. Could he stay with us temporarily? I wanted to scream. Can't a billionaire rent an apartment? But Aunt Seong's pleading eyes silenced me. I replied, Of course, Aunt Seong. Avoiding Ethan's gaze, my voice stiffened. Brother, make yourself at home. Ethan chuckled ambiguously. He didn't respond. All day, Ethan acted normally, as if our encounter 3 days prior never happened. At dinner, Dad suddenly asked me, Lemon, are you free tomorrow? Uncle Lee's son is your age, also a junior. He saw your photo and wants to meet. How about it? A blatant parental setup. Poking my rice, I hesitated over my reply. Ethan interjected smoothly. She's busy. He explained leisurely to the adults. Little sister asked me to help edit her paper tonight. His eyes locked onto mine. It'll likely take all night. Dad didn't question it. All right, reschedule then. My chopsticks clattered onto the table in shock. Dad asked, puzzled, What's wrong, Lemon? Under their suspicious stares, I nodded stiffly. Brother is right. Ethan appeared supremely confident. By 11 p.m., Ethan still hadn't come. Relieved, I grabbed my nightgown for a shower. Fresh from the bathroom, someone knocked. The last person I wanted to see. I cracked the door open, forcing politeness. It's late, brother. We can edit the paper tomorrow. He scoffed, not lowering his voice. Stop pretending, Lemon. Either let me in or we settle this here. I don't mind telling them you used me. I gaped at this audacious liar. Dad's room was nearby on the second floor. I heard his doorknob turn. Panicked, I yanked Ethan inside. Dad's footsteps approached immediately. Ethan's eyes simmered with anger. He hoisted me onto the desk and kissed me fiercely. Page. His invasion left no room for resistance. Dad paused outside my door. Lemon asleep yet? I bit Ethan's lip to break free. What is it, Dad? I struggled to steady my frantic breathing. Meanwhile, Ethan unwound his tie, winding it around my wrists. Utterly unbothered. His kisses trailed from my forehead to my nose. The troublemaker ignored the presence outside. His husky voice dripped with intent. Little sister, what did weak mean? If 2 hours is weak to you, I'll double that service tonight. Dad spoke again. If you're awake, can I come in? I shoved against Ethan's chest, yelling hurriedly. No. Wait, Dad. I pushed him back. Just let me talk first. Ethan finally lifted his head from my neck, smirking scornfully. Did you give me time to speak that day? Dark fire flickered in his eyes. With Dad waiting, I surrendered. After Dad leaves, I'll listen properly, okay? I promise I'll pay attention. My guarantee didn't sway him. He caged me against the desk, staring down coldly. Kiss me. This was his condition for cooperating. Dad called my name again impatiently. I begged Ethan with my eyes. He remained unmoved. I had no choice. I pecked his lips briefly. Ethan chased my mouth, nipping my tongue before releasing me. Catching my breath, I opened the door a sliver. Only my head peeked out. Did you need something, Dad? Dad sighed wearily. I realized today, you and Ethan lied about editing your paper. Otherwise, why hasn't he come yet? Mentioning Ethan's name spiked my anxiety. Dad pressed on. Do you not want to go on this date? Ethan's patience vanished. He'd moved behind the door. His hands gripped my waist as he kissed my shadowed shoulder. His whisper was silk and menace. Answer him. He's asking if you want to date, little sister? Terrified, I stood frozen. Dad and Ethan were separated only by wood. One push, and Dad would see the man kissing my skin. I swallowed hard, feigning calm. Whatever you think, Dad. Ethan bit my shoulder. I stifled a whimper. Dad seemed oblivious. Good. I'll find you a worthy match. Footsteps faded as he returned to his room. The instant the door shut, Ethan pinned me against it. His hands dug into my shoulders. Though he smiled, his aura chilled the air. You gave me your first time, and now you'll date others? Am I just someone you can use and discard? His phone rang. While Ethan answered, my thoughts raced. Was this a confession? I stared down, nervously twisting my skirt. Ethan hung up, his gaze sharp. Before organizing my feelings, I blurted out. I will take responsibility. My eagerness softened his coldness. As his phone rang again, he glanced at it. He pinched my earlobe gently. I have an urgent meeting. I'll find you after, okay? Nodding, my ear burned crimson under his touch. Ethan kissed my forehead, deepening the room's intimacy. Good girl. Ethan stayed at the office until morning. Seeing me awake early, Dad rescheduled my date with Uncle Lee's son. I planned to tell the suitor I had a boyfriend and leave. But opening the private dining room, I froze. Inside sat not just my date, but Ethan, radiating dark energy like a vengeful god. He lounged elegantly, fingers tapping his knee. Meeting my eyes, he smiled languidly. Come meet your boyfriend, little sister. The guy across him scratched his head sheepishly. Not yet. This is our first meeting. Ethan merely smiled. Every step toward them felt like wading through tar. Bro. Ethan stayed silent, his smile unwavering. I knew I was doomed. I sat stiffly beside Ethan as the boy introduced himself, then asked bluntly. Lemon, may I ask if you've dated before? Or, to be direct, are you still a virgin? I stared stunned. He looked utterly unapologetic. Ethan finally spoke. Studying him, he countered. Are you? The young master puffed up proudly. Men and women are different, Mr. Ethan. I require my partner to be pure. Ethan slammed his chopsticks down rudely. He sneered. My sister also has one requirement. She wants a human, not a dog. Sadly, you fail. Get lost. Fuming but intimidated, the boy stormed out. Relieved, I grinned and gave Ethan a thumbs up. That was brilliant. Silence answered me. His glare turned deadlier than before. Now, he declared gently, time to settle our score, darling. Ethan took me to his nearest apartment. He removed his watch and tie before we reached the bedroom. Remember what you promised last night? Ethan advanced relentlessly. I backed away, replying meekly. I remember. He nodded, eyes icy. Is this how you take responsibility? His shirt buttons flew open. Shirt gaping, he yanked me against him. Survival instinct screaming, I begged. I can explain. Ethan hummed indifferently, exploring my buttons. He pressed me to the wall, teeth tugging at my cardigan. Explain. I'll undress. But I couldn't form coherent words. I was unfit for endurance. Even a half-mile run winded me. I couldn't match Ethan's relentless stamina. Where's your explanation? He watched me gasp, deliberately provoking. Stop panting. Speak. Desperate, I bit his neck. Ethan remained unruffled, stroking my hair. What is this habit? Do you enjoy biting? Anticipating more taunts, I sealed his lips with mine. Finally satisfied, Ethan stopped talking. Later he pulled back slightly, lips brushing mine. He coaxed huskily. Call me brother, Lemon. Clutching his shoulders breathlessly, I whispered. Brother. Again. Brother. That evening, Ethan and I returned home. At dinner, I told Dad I was dating and didn't need setups. Ethan wanted immediate disclosure, skipping parental approval. Worried about Dad's blood pressure, I bargained. Admitting I had a boyfriend was my concession. Ethan sat opposite me, raising an approving brow. Later, I confessed our secret relationship to my best friend. She bombarded me with question marks. Then called instantly. Are you insane, Lemon? You hate Vivien most. Why take her leftovers? I froze. I'd forgotten Ethan once pursued Vivien. I defended him. But he treats me incredibly well. I feel how much he likes me. Vivien must be ancient history. My friend scoffed cynically. You don't understand the power of a white moonlight. Vivien was Ethan's unattainable ideal. If you and Vivien were dangling off a cliff, what would he do? I asked. What? If you ask him, he'll give a stupid answer. She said. Save Vivien, then die with you. I was speechless. I dismissed it as melodrama but tucked it away mentally. 2 days later, the hypothetical became real. While waiting for Ethan near his office, I spotted Vivien and her minion. They pointed outside, backs to me. Isn't that Ethan? Look closer. Distance blocked my view. Vivien suddenly said, Skinny dog. Her friend asked, Are you sure, Vivien? Obviously. He's a skinny dog. I'd heard Vivien mocked her suitors but never imagined she'd slander Ethan. Rage exploded in me. I marched over as a devoted girlfriend. He's not a skinny dog. Vivien rolled her eyes. What would you know? I stated coldly. You're spreading lies. Vivien gaped. Holy shit, Lemon, are you stupid? What's wrong with you? Before I retorted, she targeted Dad. Does your family have hereditary mental illness? Dad mentioned your father botches basic work. Is his brain failing at 50? Her friend eagerly pressed. Hereditary mental illness? Really? Vivien shrugged. Probably. Your dad pissed mine off. Yelled at him over it. My fists clenched. I strode toward her expressionlessly. I wanted to beat Vivien until she begged. To crush her underfoot, demanding an apology to Dad. Reality was harsher. I scuffled with Vivien and her crony, gaining no advantage. Vivien's brother, Ray, watched nearby unnoticed. Seeing the fight, he stormed over, yanking my hair viciously. You psycho bitch. He slammed my head into an elevator door. Crazy whore. Pain blurred with shock. My skull rang like a gong. Bystanders intervened as someone shouted. I've called the police. Ray shrugged. Go ahead. She started it. At the police station, nursing my bandaged forehead, I saw Ethan arrive. Tears welled as he glanced at me coldly and headed toward Vivien's group. Chaos erupted instantly. Ethan wrapped his tie around his fist and punched Ray repeatedly. Vivien cried. Mr. Ethan. Ethan didn't look up. Touch me and I'll hit you too. He hauled Ray up as officers rushed forward. Ethan asked tonelessly. Like this, Ray? He smashed Ray's head into a glass door. Shards exploded everywhere. The officers who pulled Ethan away seemed sympathetic. Hitting girls? Real classy. 2 women already had her pinned, but you needed to join? Ethan shook them off and approached me. I'd never seen him so disheveled. Dust smudged his cheekbones, sweat glistening. He lifted a trembling hand toward my injury but dropped it. His red-rimmed eyes held mine, voice shaking. I'm sorry. I failed to protect you. Suddenly, lost memories resurfaced. Why do you hate me? Because you like Vivien. Ethan had retorted mockingly. Before you said her name, I'd never heard of her. It was all a misunderstanding. He'd never liked Vivien. I realized the answer to my friend's cliff dilemma. The scenario was impossible. Because Ethan would never let me near that cliff. Since Ethan attacked Ray, the situation worsened. As Ray went to the hospital, Vivien complained. She provoked me for no reason. Furious, I wriggled from Ethan's arms. She insulted my boyfriend and my dad first. Vivien's face contorted in disbelief. Meeting Ethan's gaze, she stammered. I'd never insult you, Mr. Ethan. I just thought I saw someone like you at the mall. Everyone stared at me questioningly. I mumbled sheepishly. She called my boyfriend a skinny dog. She mentioned Ethan, then said, skinny dog. Ethan. The police. Only Vivien shrieked. I saw an actual skinny dog. The wrinkly-faced breed. Her friend nodded timidly. Yeah, Vivien was describing that dog. I'd misunderstood. Vivien offered a settlement to escape the station. Walking out hand in hand, I babbled to Ethan. Listen, I fought Vivien because I pitied you. She rejected you and called you names. Seeing Ethan's dark expression, I backtracked. Wait. I remembered. It was a misunderstanding. Ethan toyed with my palm idly. How did you defend me? Eager to impress, I puffed my chest. I corrected her instantly. You're definitely not a skinny dog. My volume drew coughs behind us. Vivien's group and officers pretended not to hear. I whispered awkwardly. I meant your build. Ethan nodded, implying other parts are inadequate. I swung our hands, humming cheerfully. I didn't grasp his meaning. He remembered it for a week. Once my bruises faded, he set out to prove himself. Ethan, I don't want to sit like this. He nuzzled my neck, preoccupied. Dismissing my complaint, he murmured, your head injury can't handle movement. Liar. He just liked this position. Soon he asked. I heard men lacking in one area are skinny dogs? Am I one, little sister? Clutching his neck tearfully, I whimpered. No, you're not. Ethan taught me something. Cold, aloof men conceal wicked mischief. His playful cruelty knew no bounds. Just as he'd planned to release me, his phone rang. He never answered calls during these moments. This time, he carried me to the nightstand. He answered immediately. Ethan. I gasped softly. He kissed me, then spoke into the phone. Speak. He put it on speaker and tossed it aside. Mr. Ethan, it's Vivien again. At the police station, I overheard Lemon mention you once pursued me. I'm sorry if I hurt you unknowingly. Ethan tipped my chin up, forcing me to meet his eyes. Your mess to clean up. I clamped my hand over his mouth, begging him to stay quiet. Vivien rambled obliviously. If you still feel anything, should we try? Ethan removed my hand, his tone icy and professional. How will you fix this? Vivien's proposal grew bolder. Ethan pinned my waist, blocking my reach for the phone. Cornered, I buried my face in his neck. Next time, I'll sit like this again. Okay? Ethan rewarded me with a kiss. He picked up the phone. Vivien, don't you have better things to do than interrupt people's nights? His detached scorn contrasted wildly with his actions below. Ethan's revenge extended beyond the police station. After Ray was mysteriously beaten again in his hospital bed, Vivien's father faced scandal. Anonymous tips exposed his bribery. Evidence surfaced effortlessly, landing him in prison. I saw the news the next morning. Dad called ecstatic. That bastard Chin is finally ousted. Ethan's assistant provided evidence. Despite his business prowess, Ethan's fiercely principled. When you see him, insist he comes home for dinner. I'll cook. Before I replied, Ethan stood beside me. His voice was sleep-roughened and loud. Awake so early? He dragged me back against him. Sleep longer with me. I stiffened like stone. Only wind whistled through the silent phone. I was doomed. We stood before my house at noon. I felt corpse cold. Entering, I told Ethan bleakly. Dad will murder us both. Half asleep, he grinned deliriously. How romantic to die together. Insane. Inside, Dad sat grimly on the sofa. Thunderous. He pointed accusingly. As he opened his mouth, his phone rang. Dad answered. His expression shifted from stony to shocked, then elated as he stood. I'm replacing Chin? But is that appropriate? Well, if no one else can, I'll step in. He failed to hide his grin, faux sympathetically adding. Chin was such a fool. 5 years in prison will ruin his career. Ha! Cough. Cough. Laughter escaped him. He covered it with coughs. Hanging up, I dashed over and hugged his arm before he could speak. Wow! You're amazing, Dad. You got promoted? Unswayed. He shook me off and glared at Ethan. Don't think bribing me with Chin's downfall and my promotion will work. I won't sell my daughter. Ethan remained respectful. The board recognizes your merit, Uncle Meng. I merely assisted. Dad's lips twitched upward. Seizing the moment, I gushed. Dad's the best. The most capable ever. Scram. His flushed face betrayed his joy. He refocused on Ethan. Before he spoke, Aunt Seong interrupted, spritzing her face. If they want to be together, let them. Dad sputtered. They're siblings. Ethan explained calmly. I'm on a separate household register, Uncle. No legal issues. Dad stayed silent. Aunt Seong slammed her moisturizer down angrily. Must you be so dramatic? If you fear gossip after their wedding, I'll divorce you so they can marry. She stood to fetch their marriage certificate. Dad grabbed her frantically. What nonsense! He waved us away irritably. Go. Don't annoy me. Aunt Seong winked at me. It was tacit approval. Leaving, I kissed Dad's bald head. Love you most, Dad. Humph. His stormy mood visibly cleared. Days later, Dad invited Ethan for drinks. Just the two of them talked. Ethan returned unsteady, his breath laced with alcohol. Cupping my face, he leaned in to kiss me, but stopped millimeters away. The smell's unpleasant. Let me shower first. Drunk Ethan was talkative. Freshly showered, he kissed me on the balcony lounge chair. I love you. Breaking the kiss, he murmured. Your dad said he loves you most in the world. I touched my swollen lips. Yes. Ethan watched me, his eyes dimming. So am I. His voice tinged with melancholy. But you hated me at first. I tried so often to bump into you at school. You ignored me. When you fell, you waited for that senior instead of letting me carry you. I gaped at him. I thought he asked about me to approach Vivien. The fall. I'd believed he orchestrated it for Vivien. Ethan listed his grievances. You slept with me and refused responsibility. I made you promise to take responsibility before letting you help. That morning, I tried apologizing for being rough. You walked out mid-sentence. I feared he might cry. He whispered. You abandoned me in that hotel. I felt like a villain. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you. Ethan lowered his eyes. On the balcony tonight? I wanted to refuse. But he looked so wounded. Gripping my skirt, I forced out. Fine. An hour later. You faked being drunk. His eyes were clear. Did I say I was? You lied. I bit his shoulder in retaliation. Ethan stayed quiet. Only at the peak, under the moonlit tenderness in his eyes, did he speak. I never lied. I love you. Since long ago. When you hated me most. Unrequited love was bitter. But I waited. And found you.